Hello everybody, it's Coach Saiful. We are now going into percentage. Now, for those of you who are in primary 4, you most probably have never heard of this word before, but you most probably heard of it being used all around you. You know, parents or adults are using it around you, but you don't really understand what this word percentage means. If you're in primary 5, you most probably have heard of this, right? You should have heard of this. and actually what's going to happen is I'm going to go in a bit deeper so that you understand even clearer. Now, the first thing is go into the basics first of all. Alright, what does percentage mean? Now, did you know that the word percentage actually means, okay, I'm going to write this down, okay? Look at the word per. Per means like every. What's the word? It's every. Okay, cent. Cent is actually, I think it's in, I'm not, please don't quote me on this, but most probably it's in Roman or Greek or whatever. It actually means 100. Okay, so percentage actually means every 100 each. No lah, every 100. Okay, so percent means every 100. Now, the way that the sign looks like, as you all have seen, is it looks like this, right? Now, the way that I told my kids, I always tell my students is like this, you see, it actually shows you a clue. Can you see that there is a 100 inside this? This is the 1, right? This 1, 0, 0. So it means out of every 100. So imagine for a while if we had a pizza, alright, or prata, or whatever you like, and this is actually being used to cut up into 100 pieces. Now, I'm not going to be able to draw that, but just imagine, right? I'm cutting this all up into 100 pieces. It goes on and on and on into 100 pieces. So one piece, let's say I imagine that this all is cut into 100 pieces, okay? So one piece out of this whole pizza would be 1 out of 100, correct? Which means that one piece would be 1%. That's all it means. So out of 100 pieces, if one piece, it means 1%. If, what about, let me test you. If 2 pieces, 2%. If 20 pieces, what? 20%. If 30 pieces, 30%. So on and so forth. Now, you must be wondering, why is it that people created this system? Maybe it's because it's easier to explain to people in terms of something that is commonly understood. So that means I understood that percent means out of 100 people, 1 will, let's say, not do well in the exams, for example. 99 will most probably do well, you know, something like that lah. Okay, so in this case, that's what percent means. So if I say that in a class there are, let's say 40 students, okay, that's a normal common number, right? 40 students, and I say 50%, right? 50% of the 40 students, 50% of the 40 students. Then, like, okay, how do we do this? There's only 40 people. We can't divide 40 people into 100. Of course, we can't in real life, but can we do it in numbers? Yes, we can. So, first of all, it's we need to find out what is 1%. Like, imagine like units. If I cut these 40 people into 100 units, right? So, if I cut it into 100 units, what will happen? 40 over 100, right? That will give you 40 over 100. Now, I want to find out 50 of those. What will I do? I would multiply by 50. Correct? So 40 over 100 times 50. You have learned this in your multiplication, in your division, right? So 40, 100, there's a common factor there. 50 over 1, remember? So fraction, we can cancel off this and this. So we get 4 times 5. The answer is 20. 20 students. So 20 students is 50%. So 50% basically means, right, if you look at this even closer, if we could convert it into percent, remember percent means what? Out of what? I'm going to write this down. Out of 100. That's right, out of 100. So 50% actually means 50 out of 100. Make sense? So if I make it simpler, what happens? It's 5 out of 10. If we turn it into a simplest form, it's 1 out of 2. Correct? So actually 50% refers to half, right? So half of 40 will give me 20 people. So it's all kind of linked up. Now, if you don't understand that for a while, let me just I'm going to track it back because I feel like that might be a bit confusing. So I'm going to go a bit slower. So I'm going to go back again. Just know one thing. Percent means what? Percent means out of 100 pieces or 100 units. Okay, so 1% will be 1 out of 100. That is called 1%. Okay, let's say I I make it into, let's say I ask you, what is 50%, right? We already mentioned this now. So 50% is 50 over 100, right? That is 50%. Make sense? So 50%. Let's say I ask you what 75%, right? That's 75 over 100. And same thing, that will give you 75%. So interestingly, right, if you look at these numbers, this is a fraction. A fraction can also be converted into a decimal, correct? So a decimal, if 50 over 100, remember how to do, not? Anything divided by a number that is a multiple of 10. Let's say I give you 50, right? 50. Decimal point would be where? Is it here in the front? No. Is it in the middle? No. It's at the back, correct? So 50 is 50.0. So if I divide this by 100, does the decimal point, does it jump to the left or does it jump to the right? That's right, it will jump to the left. And by how many times will it jump? Will it jump once or twice? Let's check the number. We're dividing by what? By 100. 100 has 2 zeros. So when we divide by something that has 2 zeros, the decimal point will jump 2 times, right? To the left or to the right? To the left, to the left, to the left, right? So 1 over here, and 1 more time over here, and the decimal point disappears, and it will now look like this, 5.50. The 0 here, just let's throw out for a while. So what is 0.50? Right, there should be something in front here. What's the number? It should be 0. What is 0.50? It is 0.5. So you see that this 50%, right, 50 over 100, is also known as what? 0.5, right? So it's also the same as 0.5. So same thing as 75 over 100. If you do the math, right, let's do this together. 75 over 100 is 75.0 divided by 100, correct? So how many zeros do we have? We have 2. So the decimal point will jump 2 times. 1, 2. So it will give you 0.75. So as you can see over here, this is the relationship between a fraction, a percentage, and what? A decimal, correct? Okay, so I have a lot of no space here. I'm going to remove everything and I'm going to start back so that I can show you something interesting. Okay, so far we've learned that a percentage is what? A number out of 100. So out of 100. If I say 1% is 1 of 100. If I say 20% is 20 out of 100, correct? But now I just introduce you to how it's also similar to decimal. So if 1 out of 100, right? How is that? 1 divided by 100, there will be 0.01. If I said 20 out of 100 or 20% is 0.2. Right, so you can see how it's related. Now I'm going to teach you these magic numbers. Okay, these magic numbers are basically numbers that will usually come up for your exams, right? So for example, let's say any number that's a multiple of 5. Let me show you. So let's say, think of this number between, there's 5. Oops, sorry. 5 is a magic number. 10 is a magic number. 25 is a magic number. 50 is a magic number. What else is there? 125 is a magic number. Okay, these are the few magic numbers. I'll tell you what I mean, okay? Let's say if it's 1 over 5, right? And I ask you, how do I convert a fraction like 1 over 5 into a percentage? So a bit different, huh? So remember, a percentage is anything that is out of 100. So we have to put it under as a over 100, right? So how do we go from here to here? So 5 to 100, what must we multiply by? That's right, 20. So our numerator must also be multiplied by 20. So therefore, 1 times 20 will give you 20. 20 over 100. Simple. What is 20 over 100? Remember, out of 100 means percent. So we get 20%. Okay, so same thing over here, 1 over 10. If it's 1 over 10, it's so simple. Come on, you can do this in your sleep. So 1 over 10 basically means you multiply by, that's right, 10. So if I multiply by 10 here, I must multiply by 10 above, I will get 10%. Okay, so how about 25? Let's say 1 out of 25. So same thing here, this is a magic number, it is multiplied by 4. So this one is a bit different. It's multiplied by 4. Not so obvious, right? So 4 out of 100. What is 4 out of 100, guys? 4 out of 100, as you know, is 4%. It's getting boring, isn't it? Okay, don't worry. It's gonna get slightly tougher. So 1 out of 50. What do we get? 1 out of 50 is, we multiply by 2. Correct? So it's 2 over 100. So how many percent is that? That is 2%. That's right. Okay, the last one is the one that's most challenging. Most students do not see this. Let's say I give you 1 out of 125, right? 1 out of 125. What number do we multiply in order for us to get 100? Wait, what? So we can't get 100, can we? Because, you know, it's smaller than the number on the right. So here's where magic comes in, right? You want to multiply a number that will give you, at the end of the day, something that is a multiple of 10. So it's easier for you. So what's the nearest number that's multiple of 10? It's 1,000, right? So you must multiply by 8. When you multiply by 8, what happens is you will get 8 out of 1,000. So is the answer 8%? No, the answer is not 8%. Because why? It's out of 1,000 and percentage is supposed to be out of, that's right, 100. But can we convert it, right? So if 8%, right, let me just divide by 10 at the bottom. And by the way, this is not exactly like how you're supposed to do it, but I just want to show you for the sake of showing you. So if I say 1,000 divided by 10 will give me what? 100, correct? Yes. So what's 8 divided by 10? 8 divided by 10 as a decimal would be 0. That's right, 8. So 0.8%. This is how you do it. This is how you do it. Okay, I'm in a very singing mood today. But basically that's how you do it, and this is the introduction to percentage. So now let's go through the worksheet. Okay, so this is going to be slightly challenging. If you've never tried any percentage before in your life, this is going to be challenging, right? Nah, not really. I taught you everything. Okay, so let's see. So 28 over 100, come on. That's like chickadees. It's so simple. 28 over 100 is what? 28%. Because remember, percentage basically means out of 100. 3 out of 5. How to do this? 3 out of 5, we must multiply by what? That's right. Okay, multiply by 20. So if you multiply by 20, what do we get? Oops. By 20, the numerator becomes 60. The denominator becomes 100. So it becomes, answer is 60 over 100 is 60%. Done. 25, what do we multiply by? Remember the magic number? Multiply by 4. Correct. So 4. 16 times 4. Quick, do your math. 1 times 4 is 4. 6 times 4 is 24. So you get 4 tens and 24. 64 over 100. And so the percentage is, that's right, 64%. Awesome. And one last one, the most challenging one over here is 125. What number do we do? Remember? That's right, times 8, right? So times 8, the bottom will become what? 1,000. And what does the top become? 60 times 6 times 8 is 48. So 480. So can we cancel off the 0 at the back? Yes, we can. So 48 over 100 is 48%. Awesome. Very, very simple. Okay, moving on to the next part. We actually haven't covered this yet, but come on. You guys are smart, right? So I'm going to show you how to express a decimal as a percentage. Now, I'm going to show you the long way, and then I'm going to show you the shortcut. Alright? So 0.6, if we turn it into a fraction firstly, what do we get? It will be 6 out of 10, right? Now, how do we turn this into a percentage? Come on, I know this is a magic number, right? So we multiply the numerator and the denominator by 10. So we get 60 over 100, so the answer is 60%. Now, what if I can show you a much faster method? Okay, it's not really that mysterious, it's so simple, okay? Whenever you have a decimal, all you want to do is multiply the number by 100 to get a percentage. Why? Because we are asking for something out of 100. So to get to a percentage point, we just multiply by 100. Now that sounds confusing, but just trust me on this. 0.6. Why is 0.6 multiplied by 100? So now it's time to do your jumping exercise, right? No, not jumping, okay? The decimal is jumping. So if we jump by how many times? Multiply by 100. There's 2 zeros. So how many times will the decimal point jump? That's right. It will jump 2 times, but to the left or to the right? This time it will jump to the Right. So what will happen? There will be a 60 here. The decimal point 60.0, giving you the answer of 60%. Okay. So same thing over here. It's very simple. 0.35. Let's do the jumping exercise. 1, 2, multiplied by 100 will give you 35%. Here how? Multiply by 100. Jumps twice, 1 twice. There should be a 0 here. 70%. And last but not least, jump twice. 1, 2, 5%. Isn't that simple? Very, very simple. Okay, let's move on to the last worksheet for percentage. It's going to be slightly challenging here. If you didn't understand the first part when I was explaining, maybe you might not understand this, but I'm going to try my best to explain this to you, okay? So, what does this mean? Part of a whole as a percentage. Very, very complicated sounding, right? However, it's actually quite simple. Now, number 3, there were 100 apples in the grocery store. 20 of them were green. The rest were red. Don't get confused. It's very simple. Remember, out of 100, we make you easier, your life easier, is our 100 apples, right? So if our 100 apples, that means that 20 of them were green. I'm going to imagine, so 20 of them were green out of a total of how many? 100. Hey, wait, doesn't that look familiar? Right? So how many percent of the fruits in the grocery store were green apples? So 20 out of 100. And that is actually what? That's right, 20%. So there we go. We have the answer already. See? So simple, 20%. Next one, how many percent of the fruits in the grocery store were red apples? So there are 2 choices you can it's choices you have, right? Alright, you can actually do it either one of 2 methods. The first method is you can do the long way, which is you can say, okay, since 100 apples in the store, 20 were green, so how many were red? So 100 minus 20 gives you 80, right? So 80 were red. So 80 out of 100 sorry, 80 out of 100 will give you 80%. Isn't that simple? Absolutely simple. But want to see a more simpler method? Okay, here's what we know. Everything, I want to understand this, okay? If out the total, right, is how many percent? The total of anything. Okay, let's say in this case there were 100 apples. So 1 apple would be 1%. The total, let's say out of 100, what is the total? There are how many altogether? That's right, there's 100 apples. So what's 100 out of 100? That's right, it's 100%. So that's why people always say, what, give your 200%. I don't understand that actually. That means give 2 times of what you can usually give. But I don't believe in that. I believe there's only 100%, which is the most that you can give. So 100% means your best, right? So give your 100%. So in this case, total is 100%. Green were 20. So how many are red, right? So it's 100% minus 20% will give you, yeah, that's right, that's the answer, 80%. So there you go, the answer is 80%. Done. Okay, simple, right? Not too bad. Okay, moving on. Number 4, the last question here. There were 20 people in the cinema. So now a bit different. The number is not 100. Okay, we're going to test you a bit. So total is 20. 16 of them were adults. The rest were children. Question, how many percent of the people in the cinema were children? Okay, so first of all, let's find out how many children there were, right? 16 were adults, 20 people in the cinema. So 20 minus 16, right? So 20, oops, sorry about that. Let's be a second. 20 minus 16. What is 20 minus 16? The answer is 4. Right? So it's 4 children. Is that the answer? No. Because remember, we are now looking for percentage. So 4 out of how many? Total was 20. So how many percent is this? Now we will have to use our magic number, multiply by what? That's right, multiply by 5. So 5 times 4 gives you 20. Oops, sorry about that. 5 times 4 equals to 20. So 20 times 5 gives you 100. And 20 over 100 is, as you already know, 20%. Right? 20%. Okay, I apologize for the background noise. I can't control the dogs in the background or the cars. Okay, part B. How many percent of the people in the cinema were adults? So as you already know from the previous example, if 20% of them were children, the rest must be adults. So 100% is total, right? So minus off the children, which is 20%, and that will give you how many percent? That's right, 80. 80%, and that is the answer. So I hope you remember this. You know this, right? This is actually a very important concept that is going to be used in the Master Problem Solved by Friday program. And please be clear. If you are not clear, right, you can always ask me in the first day when you see me. You can ask any of the coaches around us, or you can even ask your mom or your dad. I'm pretty sure they can help you out with that. All right, that is Coach Saiful signing off. You are a math prodigy.